Tubular opacities in the gastrointestinal tract. Definition. What does opacity mean? The quality or state of a body that makes it impervious to the rays of light broadly, the relative capacity of matter to obstruct the transmission of radiant energy. What structures conform the gastrointestinal tract? Also called digestive tract or alimentary canal, pathway by which food enters the body and solid wastes are expelled. The gastrointestinal tract includes the mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and anus.
Across the whole planet, humans eat on average between 1 and 2.7 kilograms of food a day. That's over 365 kilograms a year per person, and more than 28,800 kilograms over the course of a lifetime. And every last scrap makes its way through the digestive system. Comprised of 10 organs, covering 9 meters, and containing over 20 specialized cell types, this is one of the most diverse and complicated systems in the human body. Its parts continuously work in unison to fulfill a singular task, transforming the raw materials of your food into the nutrients and energy that keep you alive. Spanning the entire length of your torso, the digestive system has 4 main components. First, there's the gastrointestinal tract, a twisting channel that transports your food and has an internal surface area of between 30 and 40 square meters, enough to cover half a badminton court. Second, there's the pancreas, gallbladder, and liver, a trio of organs that break down food using an array of special juices. Third, the body's enzymes, hormones, nerves, and blood all work together to break down food, modulate the digestive process, and deliver its final products. Finally, there's the mesentery, a large stretch of tissue that supports and positions all your digestive organs in the abdomen, enabling them to do their jobs. The digestive process begins before food even hits your tongue. Anticipating a tasty morsel, glands in your mouth start to pump out saliva. We produce about 1.5 liters of this liquid each day. Once inside your mouth, chewing combines with the sloshing saliva to turn food into a moist lump called the bolus. Enzymes present in the saliva break down any starch. Then your food finds itself at the rim of a 25-centimeter long tube called the esophagus, down which it must plunge to reach the stomach. Nerves in the surrounding esophageal tissue sense the bolus's presence and trigger peristalsis, a series of defined muscular contractions. That propels the food into the stomach, where it's left at the mercy of the muscular stomach walls, which pound the bolus, breaking it into chunks. Hormones secreted by cells in the lining trigger the release of acids and enzyme-rich juices from the stomach wall that start to dissolve the food and break down its proteins. These hormones also alert the pancreas, liver, and gallbladder to produce digestive juices and transfer bile, a yellowish-green liquid that digests fat, in preparation for the next stage. After 3 hours inside the stomach, the once shapely bolus is now a frothy liquid called chyme, and it's ready to move into the small intestine. The liver sends bile to the gallbladder, which secretes it into the first portion of the small intestine, called the duodenum. Here, it dissolves the fats floating in the slurry of chyme so they can be easily digested by the pancreatic and intestinal juices that have leached onto the scene. These enzyme-rich juices break the fat molecules down into fatty acids and glycerol for easier absorption into the body. The enzymes also carry out the final deconstruction of proteins into amino acids and carbohydrates into glucose. This happens in the small intestine's lower regions, the jejunum and ileum, which are coated in millions of tiny projections called villi. These create a huge surface area to maximize molecule absorption and transference into the bloodstream. The blood takes them on the final leg of their journey to feed the body's organs and tissues. But it's not over quite yet. Leftover fiber, water, and dead cells sloughed off during digestion make it into the large intestine, also known as the colon. The body drains out most of the remaining fluid through the intestinal wall. What's left is a soft mass called stool. The colon squeezes this byproduct into a pouch called the rectum, where nerves sense it expanding and tell the body when it's time to expel the waste. The byproducts of digestion exit through the anus, and the food's long journey, typically lasting between 30 and 40 hours, is finally complete. TED-Ed is a nonprofit. If you value our work, please consider supporting it on patreon.com/TED-Ed.
Application in medicine. A barium X-ray is a radiography examination of the gastrointestinal tract. Barium X-rays, also called upper and lower GI series, are used to diagnose abnormalities of the GI tract, such as tumors, ulcers, and other inflammatory conditions, polyps, hernias, and structures. It also helps us find possible infections of certain parasites such as Ascaris lumbricoides and Trichuris trichuria. Reasons for performing barium X-ray procedures may include the following: abdominal pain, bleeding from the rectum, unexplained vomiting, bowel movement, chronic diarrhea, pain, unexplained weight loss, and others. Issue applied in Ecuador. In Ecuador, we have high frequency of infections by parasites. To observe tubular opacities in the gastrointestinal tract confer great help for the diagnosis of these infections in the country.
Hello guys and welcome to MedTube again, and today I will gladly demonstrate to you how to read an abdominal radiograph in less than 1 minute using these steps, the same ones which we have just explained in our previous video. And we will be taking this abdominal radiograph as an example. And here's the chief complaint of our patient. A 36 years old male presents to the emergency department with 10 hours duration of generalized abdominal pain, abdominal distension, nausea, and vomiting. And of course, before starting to comment, we'll first have to step back a little bit and have a general look on the radiograph to have a complete view. And then we'll start by commenting. So let's start with 1, 2, and 3. This is an erect abdominal radiograph in the AAP projection, as it is the standard projection in abdominal radiographs. I do not see any patient details, so I would like to confirm that this is the correct patient, with the hospital number, date, and time also mentioned. Regarding the technical quality, we can see both the hemodiaphragm, but I cannot see the pubic symphysis, nor the hernial orifices. Therefore, this is a technically inadequate radiograph. However, the penetration is adequate because we can see the spinous processes through the vertebral bodies. And now looking for obvious abnormalities, the most striking abnormality is the air fluid level we can see in the central and the epigastric regions. And since there are valvulae conniventes traversing the whole width of the bowel, and the width of this bowel is more than 3 centimeters, we can say that this is small bowel dilatation. And now moving to the systematic review, we can see that the small bowel is enlarged. We cannot see any gas in the large bowel, however we can note some fecal material as in here. And there are no signs of pneumoperitoneum, such as free air under the diaphragm or double wall sign. Therefore, there are no visible signs of perforation. The size of the solid organs of the abdomen look normal, such as the liver and the spleen. There are no obvious calcifications or stones in the gallbladder, nor in the kidneys, nor in the path of the ureterus, nor in the urinary bladder. And there are no obvious skeletal abnormalities. And finally, I cannot see any foreign bodies, such as drains, lines, or clips. And this tiny radiopaque object, it's probably an artifact. On summary, this patient is suffering from small bowel obstruction, but first we certainly need further clinical assessment and physical examination to determine whether this is a functional or mechanical obstruction. And for that we may do a small bowel fall-through, and we definitely need an urgent surgical consultation. And that's it. That was simple, wasn't it? And again, it took more than 1 minute. But in order to do it quickly and to make sure that you're not missing any of the important steps, I really advise you that you follow all of these steps in every abdominal radiograph that you see so that you become familiar with all of them and to make sure that you're not missing any of the important findings. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next video on orthopedic x-rays. And I wish you a wonderful day ahead.
Pros and cons. Pros. It helps us find possible diagnoses of disease or infections by parasites or bacteria. Cons. In case of parasites, it does not let identify the type of parasite or bacteria that is causing the infection, also the amount of radiation the patient is receiving.
X-rays are electromagnetic waves which pass through your body and are exposed onto a film or read by a computer to produce black and white images.
The consultants team will make a request with the imaging department, who will check that it is the right X-rays for you to have and send you a letter with appointment details.
Alternatively, the consultant can also make a request when you come in for your outpatient's appointment. You are then given a white slip to hand over to the nurse at the outpatient's department. Whether you arrive at the radiology department on your appointment day, or whether you have an X-ray requested on your outpatient's appointment, please report to the reception desk. A member of the team will ask you to remove clothing around the area that is to be X-rayed and put on a hospital gown. You will either lie down on an adjustable bed or stand, depending upon which part of the body is going to be X-rayed. Depending on the part of the body being X-rayed, a lead shield or apron may be provided for your protection. You have to remain still during the X-ray and might have to hold your breath for a few seconds to avoid the picture becoming blurry. After the X-ray session, a member of the team will check if you are okay and help you get up once the session has finished. You should be able to go back to your normal activities straight away. No evidence of fracture. We as the radiologists will analyze the images and share a report of your X-ray with your consultant. X-rays are
Conclusion. In conclusion, tubular opacities in the gastrointestinal tract can be provoked by a few things, like tumors, parasites, bacteria, and can be diagnosed with the help of abdominal radiography and computer tomography.
My name is Tyler Slusser, and my pathology was cirrhosis of the liver. So we'll be doing an abdominal series, which includes the supine and erect abdominal projections. Proper patient preparation will include having the patient remove all their clothing and put on a gown as to avoid any artifacts from their clothing being present on the image. You also want to make sure to get a thorough patient history, usually starting out with getting at least 2 patient identifiers, such as them giving you their full name and their date of birth, as well as, if it is a female, checking to make sure that there is no possibility of pregnancy. Today we'll be demonstrating the supine abdomen, also known as a KUB. You want to start with having your patient lying down supine on the table. This projection is done at a 40-inch SID with a 14 by 17-inch cassette lengthwise in the table bucky, and you want to make sure you have your marker in the lower right corner of this. You want to make sure that your tube is aligned with your bucky. And you also want to make sure to shield your patient's gonad. Now, obviously, we're not going to be able to do that on her, but we're still going to place the shield there for psychological reasons. Centering for this projection is at the level of the iliac crest and aligned with the mid-sagittal plane. To find the iliac crest, we simply just need to palpate for him. And then we'll move. Now we're aligned. Now, if you have problems finding the iliac crest, another thing you can look for is the ASIS. Be about right here, and all you do is just follow that up, and that'll get you to the iliac crest. Or if you're unable to find either of these landmarks, you can have the patient take a breath in and let it out. And as they're letting it out, it allows the abdominal region to relax and give you a better chance of finding those landmarks. Also, before you take your exposure, make sure you measure so you're able to set the proper exposure factors. To measure, all you want to do is just go right through where the light path is showing. Go ahead and please lift your arm. Bring it right in here. And just like that. 21. Make sure also that when you go to set your exposure techniques that we are using the AC, so you're going to use all 3 chambers for this projection. Now, if you want to make sure that you have the patient positioned properly, one thing you need to make to look for is to check to see if the symphysis pubis is still in the light field, as it is required to be seen on the image. Basically, what you need to do, make sure the patient knows beforehand what you're going to do for your symphysis pubis. And then you just want to go ahead and keep going down until you find it, come right out. You're right on the edge, so we should be okay, and the patient is positioned properly. So at this point, the only thing we left to do really is to make sure that when we go to expose, that we go on suspended exhalation, which is have the patient breathe in, breathe out, hold it out, and then we expose. Next, we're going to be doing the upright abdomen projection. This is kind of like the supine, with just a couple slight variations. We want to make sure that we get both hemidiaphragms in the image on this one, so we're going to be setting a little bit higher. It's actually 2 inches above the iliac crest and still aligned to the mid-sagittal plane. We're still going to be using a 40-inch SID, still going to be using a 14 by 17 inch cassette, and lengthwise, and we want to make sure that our marker is down in the lower corner. You're going to have your patient standing right up against here with the back against the wall bucky, and you're going to start by feeling for the crest. It's right about here. And we're going to go 2 inches above that, so we'll just move our tube superiorly 2 inches. So about right. Make sure you realign the bucky with the tube. And a good way to check to make sure that you're in the proper position is you want the top of the light field to be at her axilla or the armpit region, which we are. This is also good on a patient, say if you're having problems finding the landmark, if you just make sure that you're up in this area, you should get everything that you need to get in the image. Now we need to go ahead and measure the patient. We want to go right through the center of that light field. Just going to measure at 22. You can go ahead and put your arms down. Now we're going to go ahead and give the patient a shield. Once again, we would like to cover the gonads, but we really can't. This is more of a psychological thing than anything. We're also, when you go to set your technique, once again, it's going to be AEC. You're going to, on the wall bucky, you're going to be using all 3 chambers. You're going to want to do it on suspended exhalation. Breathe in, breathe out, hold it out, and expose.